Hi guys and welcome to another Fool of the Week. This week's Fool is somebody I believe won the award before, Tory MP Helen Whately. Now Helen is the current Shadow Secretary of State for the DWP and has made some interesting gaffes in the past and quite recently. Anyway, she was on the Politics Live show this week where she wasn't listening to what the other guests were saying and instead was just waiting for her moment to shine. But perhaps shine isn't the word. Have a listen.
You inherited the fastest growing economy in the G7 and inflation right back
and
down
a 22 billion black hole that we
level.
had to fill.
And you created a big black hole. Hold on, I gave you your time to say a whole lot of things that I thought were completely not true.
Helen, it was the fastest growing economy in 1 quarter after a decade or so of sluggish, anemic growth. If you just come to what is the economic perspective?
So I'll come to that, but it's just having let Jackie speak.
Yeah, go on.
So she inherited the fastest growing economy in the G7.
Does she actually have a functioning brain? You could see her expression there. Let me try and find it. It's like, I'm waiting for you to stop speaking so I can just regurgitate the talking points I received from Tory Party HQ. She's not actually listening to the other guests. She just wanted to say, we had the fastest growing nation in the G7. Okay, for how long? Well, a short period of time during a long period of stagnation. But she just wants to say fastest growing nation in the G7, as if that will work. As if people will say, oh, well, maybe we should vote for the Conservatives again, because they delivered the fastest growing nation in the G7 for a weekend in July, okay? Or something like that. No, they're not going to vote for you again. Even if you had the fastest growing nation in the G7 constantly for a 10-year period, if people didn't see public services improve, then they're not going to vote for you. But there's a fundamental problem here. What is the point in inviting Helen on if Helen is not going to listen to what the other guests are saying and respond to those comments? She just wants to say her piece. It might as well be a monologue. It might as well be just a clip of her speaking, and that's it. She's not engaging with the other people on the panel. She's not properly listening to the host because she just stopped speaking because the host was speaking. She wasn't listening. She just said, okay, when you stop speaking, I will start again and I'll repeat exactly the same thing as I said before. But because I'm not listening to you, I don't know what I'm saying is wrong. Or it doesn't really matter. It's not about informing the public. It's about convincing people, we had the fastest growing nation in the G7. You should vote for the Conservatives once again. Because remember, we did such wonderful things when we were in charge. Look at the NHS. Actually, don't look at that. Look at infrastructure. No, don't look at that. Look at the economy. No, don't look at that. Well, apart from a weekend in July where we had a little bit of growth. We were the fastest growing nation in the G7. People are not going to vote for the Conservative Party if they don't see an improvement in their lives when the Conservatives are in power. So I think it's going to be very difficult for them to win back power. They're going to have to rely on Labour crashing and burning. That's the only way. But there's another kid in town, of course, Reform UK. So they're fighting two battles. They're trying to convince people that things were not so terrible when they were in charge and it would improve if they were put back into power. But they also have to convince people, don't go to Nigel Farage because he's just a protest vote. Oh my goodness. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you next time for our next Fool of the Week.